is noted sociologist Ashis Nandy. He's defended his statement while speaking to the Rajasthan police. Ashis Nandy, renowned sociologist, has been in the eye of a storm for his comments on SC, ST, OBCs and corruption. This statement that he'd made at the Jaipur Lit Fest, he's gone to the police and he's defended it. Ashis Nandy said SCs and STs should actually get the majority share of the loot. He said share of loot will only benefit the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes and the other backward classes. Let me bring in our deputy political editor Karthik Sharma for more on this story. Karthik, give us details. What did Ashis Nandy say in his defense? I'll come to Karthik Sharma in just a moment, but before we move on in this bulletin, let's listen in to what Ashis Nandy has just said. Let's listen in.
करप्ट होते हैं, करप्शन है, पर ये भी बोला साथ साथ के कि मैं इनका करप्शन थोड़ा बहुत समर्थन करता हूं, क्योंकि उससे देश की भला होगी। ये भी बोला। अरे इस बार पहली बार नहीं बोला, ये बहुत सालों से मैं बोल रहा हूं कि जब सभी चीजों में उनको हिस्सा मिल रहा है, करप्शन को उनको थोड़ा बहुत हिस्सा मिलना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये देश में मेजोरिटी उन्हीं की है। उनकी मेजोरिटी है तो लूट की मेजोरिटी भी उनको मिलना चाहिए। थोड़ा मेजोरिटी ना मिले, एक हिस्सा तो मिलना ही चाहिए, उससे देश का भला ही होगा। यही बोला था, और ये मैंने छिपा के नहीं बोला, लोगों के सामने ही बोला था।
Before we move on in this bulletin, let's once again listen into what Ashis Nandy has just said. Let's listen in.
करप्ट होते हैं, करप्शन है, पर ये भी बोला साथ साथ के मैं इनका करप्शन थोड़ा बहुत समर्थन करता हूं, क्योंकि उससे देश की भला होगी। ये बोला। अरे इस बार पहली बार नहीं बोला, ये बहुत सालों से मैं बोल रहा हूं कि जब सभी चीजों में उनको हिस्सा मिल रहा है, करप्शन को उनको थोड़ा बहुत हिस्सा मिलना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये देश में मेजोरिटी उन्हीं की है। उनकी मेजोरिटी है तो लूट की मेजोरिटी भी उनको मिलना चाहिए। थोड़ा मेजोरिटी ना मिले, एक हिस्सा तो मिलना ही चाहिए, उससे देश का भला ही होगा। यही बोला था, और ये मैंने छिपा के नहीं बोला, लोगों के सामने ही बोला था।
Let me bring in headlines today's deputy political editor Karthik Sharma for more on this. Karthik, break down his statement for us. He's defending what he said at the Jaipur Lit Fest. He's not apologizing, and he's saying this will actually bring them forward, bring the SCs, STs and OBCs forward with the mainstream.
You see, there are two things to it. Mr. Nandy was politically incorrect, and perhaps the words or the discourse, which is Gaurav primarily reserved for classrooms or professorial talks, which was being covered by the press, which was part of the public forum. And I think that's where Mr. Nandy went wrong. So Nandy intellectually, at the level of an idea, is trying to defend himself, but he do understand that the concept of law is such that, and that to capture on TV, he'll have very little maneuvering space in defending what he has already said. As the law has set into motion, certain procedures and acts by which he'll have to depose, testify, not only in police station, but also in the court.
Okay, stay on with me. Let me also bring in noted Dalit thinker and activist Mr. Chandrabhan for more on the story. Sir, what do you make of what Ashis Nandy said then and what he said now? Is this an academic discussion? It's an idea which is being blown out of proportions for gains?
He made a mistake in Jaipur Literature Festival.
Yes.
He made a big mistake, and he should have gracefully accepted that. But now I think by repeating what he said and then saying that he is pro-Dalit and that's the way Dalit should develop, I think he is making mockery of Dalits and their development, and he is asking for a prison term.
He's asking for a prison term, you feel?
Yes. Now now I'm really, he made a mistake. He should have rejected. He did up to some extent, but now he's going back and saying, no, I was right, and you know, and this is the way this should will develop and become part of the mainstream. He's now making a mockery of everything, and I think he's asking for a prison term.
Okay. Okay, now stay on with me, stay on with me. Let's, for the benefit of our viewers, play out what Ashis Nandy said at the Jaipur Lit Fest and what he's saying now. Let's listen in to him.
It is a fact that most of the corrupt come from the OBCs and the scheduled castes and now increasingly scheduled tribes. And as long as this is the case, Indian Republic will survive. करप्ट तो होते हैं, करप्शन है, पर ये भी बोला साथ साथ के कि मैं इनका करप्शन थोड़ा बहुत समर्थन करता हूं, क्योंकि उससे देश की भला होगी, ये भी बोला। अरे इस बार पहली बार नहीं बोला, ये बहुत सालों से मैं बोल रहा हूं कि जब सभी चीजों में उनको हिस्सा मिल रहा है, करप्शन पे उनको थोड़ा बहुत हिस्सा मिलना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये देश में मेजोरिटी उन्हीं की है, उनकी मेजोरिटी है, तो लूट की मेजोरिटी भी उनको मिलना चाहिए। थोड़ा मेजोरिटी ना मिले, एक हिस्सा तो मिलना ही चाहिए, उससे देश का भला ही होगा, यही बोला था। और ये मैंने छिपा के नहीं बोला, लोगों के सामने ही बोला था।
Let me also bring in a noted Dalit rights activist, Dr. Udit Raj, for more on this. Mr. Udit Raj, what he said at the Jaipur Lit Fest, you've heard that, what he said now. You're also hearing that he's saying that let them have a share in corruption. It will only benefit them, SCs, STs and OBC. So, what do you make of his comment today?
You see, corruption is now our life and blood.
Yeah.
It has become part and parcel of our lives, our culture, our way of thinking. And almost all corporate houses today are based on corruption. Not only corruption in politics, but in business, trade, and even in film industries. So in some respect, I support him. However, I'm against corruption. There should not be share of the booty of corruption. Absolutely. But since this system is prevalent, corruption is, as I said, is a life and blood, and it's giving a power. And through corruption only most of the people are getting elected to the parliament and assemblies. It's a black money which is a backbone of whole electoral politics. So in that respect I support. Initially I don't support that there should not be corruption, but once corruption is a part and parcel of society, then why should SC, ST, OBC not share proportionately?
Yes. So, Chandrabhan, another rights activist, Dalit rights activist, was telling me that at this point of time, by this second statement, Ashis Nandy is actually inviting a prison term. Do you agree? Or would you agree with what Professor Kancha Elaya was telling me on Headlines Today yesterday, that this should be debated academically and not legally?
You see, it's not he who said. The day on which Ashis Nandy made the statement, I said that let there be debate on national scale. It happened in the case of Nirbhaya rape and murder. So I have accepted his challenge. His challenge was that is SC, ST, OBC are more corrupt. I said, look, okay, we accept this challenge and let there be debate in the country and reach and final conclusion that which caste, which community is more corrupt. So this was my idea, and not only this will of course give idea which community caste is more corrupt, but rather the cause will be also served. To fight corruption, the cause is will be also served. So I said this. First of all, I said that there should be instead of going in other controversies, legal controversy and others.
So you too agree, Udit Raj, that this should be debated at an intellectual level and not legally or penally. For the moment, Mr. Chandrabhan and Udit Raj and Kartikeya Sharma, many thanks for joining me. There shouldn't be a legal issue on this. This should actually be an intellectual debate. Before we move on, let's once again listen in to what Dr. Ashis Nandy said then and now.
It is a fact that most of the corrupt come from the OBCs and the scheduled castes, and now increasingly scheduled tribes. And as long as this is the case, Indian Republic will survive. करप्ट होते हैं, करप्शन है, पर यह भी बोला साथ साथ के कि मैं इनका करप्शन थोड़ा बहुत समर्थन करता हूं, क्योंकि उससे देश की भला होगी। ये भी बोला। अरे इस बार पहली बार नहीं बोला, ये बहुत सालों से मैं बोल रहा हूं कि जब सभी चीजों में उनको हिस्सा मिल रहा है, करप्शन को उनको थोड़ा बहुत हिस्सा मिलना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये देश में मेजोरिटी उन्हीं की है, उनकी मेजोरिटी है, तो लूट की मेजोरिटी भी उनको मिलना चाहिए। थोड़ा मेजोरिटी ना मिले, एक हिस्सा तो मिलना ही चाहिए, उससे देश का भला ही होगा। यही बोला था, और ये मैंने छिपा के नहीं बोला, लोगों के सामने ही बोला था।